Yeah, my name is Sunil Patel. I work for a charity called Show Racism the Red Car, so I'm a charity manager in Wales. I'm from Cardiff, been in Wales since 1981, and as a charity manager, oversee the campaign in Wales, being a spokesperson, putting in funding applications, keeping the work going and sustainable, as well as ensuring that as many young people get educated around anti-racism as possible through a small team of workers we have. Well, first of all, I think it's really important and crucial that the conversation is happening and a debate is happening with the communities, which is really crucial. I've been an advocate for a number of years in terms of some of the issues and the barriers that have been faced by communities across Wales, which is a combination of factors. I think it's really important that people have a voice and have a say as to how we can shape sport in Wales. Because I think it's also a two-way dialogue. It can't just be for one organisation or a couple of organisations to try and support all the communities. So I felt it was really important as an individual, a member of the community in Wales, to have my say. So I responded just recently. It was only 3 pages, it wasn't an essay as such, but I felt the 3 pages I put together were important to me as a person, an individual, and also reflective of some of the communities which I support and represent as well, some of their views to be put forward. Sure, well, unfortunately, one of my experiences has been a negative one. My first experience actually of racism in Wales was at a sports venue when I was aged 8 years old. So that kind of, it made me feel as if I had to have a voice, because that experience has affected me to this day, unfortunately. And I see this very often in the work I do in the charity sector and working with communities at a grassroots level of sport, where they continue to experience prejudice and especially racism. And unfortunately, sometimes these issues aren't dealt with or tackled. And what happens then is people actually give up sport, and I think that's really not a good way for young people especially to experience any discrimination, for them then to give up something that they have a passion for. And I think that's one of the barriers that many people face in Wales, is not having the support, and then they losing self-esteem and confidence to continue. And also maybe Wales is missing out on a lot of sporting talent in that respect as well. I think it's partly lack of education in terms of some of the people that are involved in sport, and some of the staff in certain positions, for example, and then that leads to a lack of confidence in the victims, really, in terms of ensuring that there's mechanisms in place and believing in the system, and that it's actually supporting them and is working for them. I think at the moment maybe there might be a lack of confidence within the system because of the lack of cases which have actually been positive for the victims, and we've seen that in our charity. But things have improved, and they're starting to improve, and I think that's the direction we need to continue looking at, is to support each other to make sure we see change which will help and make a difference for these communities. Sure, I definitely believe there's a lack of trust and confidence from the communities, and especially the ethnic minority communities in Wales, towards governing bodies in sport. I mean, that's been backed up by the report just released 2 years ago in Wales, which was commissioned by Sport Wales. The word racism was actually mentioned over 18 times within the report. So there's definitely an issue in terms of the racism element within sport. But as I say, that's not the only factor. We have to look at the other issues around it. For example, there's cultural issues too. Many older parents don't see sport as an angle for their young people to get into for various reasons, and that's a cultural issue. I think on the back of that, what I have seen, and I continue to see, and I think it's really important, that has to be addressed, is underrepresentation of those communities and within the sporting organisation as a whole. And what I mean by that is from top to bottom, including the boards and governing boards, and staff in certain positions, that there's definitely a lack of BME staff within certain roles within sport. And again, that's been mentioned in the report just 2 years ago. So I think that has to be looked at and improved, and that will definitely help to see the change that we see around more people from ethnic minorities get involved in sport. I think for me the starting point is to show that they are accepted in Wales, they're part of Wales, to show that people do actually believe in them, and to give them the confidence. And to start that off, we need to see more representation. I keep going back to that issue, but I think it's really important to see role models that from those communities representing them and having their voices heard, on the governing boards, for example, or within certain senior positions of sport within Wales. It's all very well having great sports stars playing on the pitch and earning really good money for what they do, but I think we need more than that to encourage our communities to get involved. So that's one area which I think that needs to be looked at. But also the other issue, I think, is to look at some communities that are from those backgrounds live in the poorest parts of Wales too. And those areas are classed as community first areas in Wales, which are most deprived across the UK, itself. So I think some of the issues come back to finance and how they may not be able to afford to go into certain venues, using the gym, for example, and also things like hiring the cricket pitches is an issue which I'm aware of. There are many Asians that play cricket on the fields, but I know they struggle in terms of paying for the fees, which have gone up year by year. And even football fees on the pitches in Wales have increased. But that's a general issue for the population of Wales. I think it's not just specifically for BAME communities as such, but I know that's also has been a problem for many people to afford to continue, paying for pitches to play football and so on. So I think finance is one of the barriers, especially in the last number of years where we've seen so many cutbacks and some of the services being cut back in terms of youth provision, which has meant many young people aren't able to access physical activities because of that as well. So that's another issue I think which may need to be considered.